Hello everybody. Let's see, where are we at today? This is Enriched Algebra 2. We are back to graphing and solving. Weren't we doing that a little bit ago? Let's see here. The last worksheet we did was transformations, part 2. So now you know how things are stretched and shrunk and moved around. So we can use some of that information on these bad boys. So we have to solve it graphically and algebraically. Okay, let's tackle the first one graphically. So x minus 4, that moves it to the right 4, and plus 1 moves it up 1. So if you go to the right 4, up 1, now this is your standard absolute value, so hopefully you remember what that one looks like by now. It's just a basic v, and 1/3 x plus 1. That 1 moves it up 1, and the 1/3 in front of the formula is a vertical stretch. In this case, it's a shrink, not that that matters, because you multiply all of the, okay, so let's move it up 1 first, so up 1. So it started here, that's y equals x. It moved it up 1, and now we're gonna stretch it vertically. So instead of over 1 up 1, the up 1 is multiplied by 1/3, so it's over 1 up 1/3. It usually goes over 2, let's say I'll go over 3 because that's easier to take 1/3 of. It usually goes over 3 up 3, but now it goes over 3 up 1 instead. All right, so there is our line. So up another 1 over 1, 2, 3. Oh my, it looks like it crosses twice. Okay, so we'll see if that's right here when we solve it algebraically. Okay, so it looks like solutions are 3, 2, and what about 6, 3? So when we solve it, we should get x is 3 and x is 6. Okay, now we have to solve it both ways. We're not trying to solve this problem as quick as possible. We're trying to see if we can get the algebra to match up with the graph. So we have the absolute value of x minus 4 plus 1 equals 1/3 x plus 1. Okay, we've solved these before from a couple worksheets back. We want to get the absolute value by itself, so we subtract 1 from both sides. Then you get the absolute value of x minus 4 equals 1/3 x. Now we'll multiply both sides by, oh, the absolute value is by itself. We're ready to go. So x minus 4 equals 1/3 x. That's the positive case. And the negative case is x minus 4 equals negative 1/3 x. Okay, now we'll solve each of these problems individually. I'll multiply both sides by 3. Here I'm going to have to distribute. So I get 3x minus 12 equals x. Subtract 3x from both sides. So I get negative 12 equals negative 2x. Divide by negative 2. And x equals 6. Now if I plug it into the top and the bottom, I should get the same thing. And I can double check. So if I plug it in the top, I get the absolute value of 6 minus 4 plus 1. 6 minus 4 is 2 plus 1 is 3. And the bottom, I get 1/3 times 6 plus 1. 6 times 1 is 6 divided by 3 is 2 plus 1 is 3. Oh my, we got 3 both times, so it's right. 6, 3 is a solution. Now on the right side, we want to multiply both sides by negative 3, remembering to distribute. So we get negative 3x plus 12 equals 3x. 1x, sorry. That should be a 1x. All right. Try that again, 1x. Okay, I will add 3x to both sides. So I get 12 equals 4x. Divide by 4. And x equals 3. Now I'll plug it into the top and bottom to double check. So if I plug it into the top, I get the absolute value of 3 minus 4 plus 1, which is the absolute value of negative 1 is 1 plus 1 is 2. Plug it in the bottom, I get 1/3 times 3, which is 1, plus 1 is 2. I get the same thing. So my answer is 3, 2. Now look up above to see if they're the same. Ooh, got that one. And this one, ooh, I got that one. It works. I have done it. That was a good one. Now that wasn't that much harder than the other worksheets. Some of these are a little harder, I'd say. Okay, so let's see if this bad boy looks well. This looks like. So the absolute value of x is there. And y equals x squared is here. Over 1 up 1, over 2 up 4. Over 1 up 1, back 2 up 4. It's there. The solutions are 1, 1, and negative 1, 1. So I should get x equals 1 and x equals negative 1. This one looks straightforward enough. Okay, so I get the absolute value of x equals x squared. Okay. When I have an x squared problem, I'll square root both sides to solve it. So then the square root and the square cancel. So I get x equals plus or minus the square root of the absolute value of x. Ooh, I think I'm stuck. Because I can't take the square root of the absolute value. I don't think that worked. Let me see what else I could do. I have the absolute value of x equals x squared. My other choice is, once the absolute value is by itself, I split it into the positive and the negative case. This looks a little more promising. Now, when you have an x squared term and an x term, the square root of both sides doesn't work because you have the square root of x, so that doesn't work. The other method is set it equal to 0 and factor. So I can factor out an x, and I'm left with x minus 1. So my answers are 0 and 1. Now, if I plug it in to the top and the bottom, I get the absolute value of 0 equals 0 squared. Does that work? The absolute value of 0 is 0. Yeah, that works okay. What about 1? Does the absolute value of 1 equal 1 squared? That works too. So 0 something and 1 something zero, 0, and 1, 0 are solutions. Wait a second, I didn't get 0, 0. Oh, holy cow. There are 3 solutions. I forgot about 0, 0 earlier. Look at that. I was thinking there'd be 2 solutions to this problem, but there are 3. Holy cow. What about the other side? Maybe there's even more. Okay. I am going to add x squared to both sides. So I get x squared plus x equals 0. Then I'm going to factor it into x times x plus 1. So the answers are 0 and negative 1. Now if I plug 0 into the top and the bottom, I get absolute value of 0 and 0 squared. So that's 0, 0. Now if I plug negative 1 into the top and bottom, I get the absolute value of negative 1, which is 1, and negative 1 squared is 1. So 0, 0, which I got twice, 1, 0, and negative 1, 0 are the 3 solutions. Holy cow. There's 3 solutions. It worked. That was pretty interesting. Now I feel like some of these on this worksheet are going to be doozies. We'll have to see what happens. You have to be careful. Might need a couple hints. Maybe we'll have to do a couple of these together at some point. But go ahead and give this bad boy a shot and we'll see what happens.